Welcome and thank you for joining us for the International Student Connects webinar on cybersecurity and identity theft. I'd like to tell you a little bit about ISC. So, International Student Connect is a bilingual project and it is funded by the Government of Ontario. It's a project that supports international students and their families. Costi Immigrant Services, which is the organization that I work for, is a community-based agency that serves over 39,000 clients annually, and we have 17 locations across the Greater Toronto area. This organization is the organization that coordinates this project for all international students um, right across Ontario. So today we're going to talk a little bit about cybercrime and cyberbullying. As a student, you probably use digital tools more than the average person, I'm sure. Your social life, your schoolwork, and even work life probably depends on the use of the internet and being connected with your devices. So on our agenda for today, we're looking at what is cybersecurity, cybersecurity breaches, we will look at identity theft and we'll look at some important tips that I think would be worthwhile for you to remember. So, what are cybercrimes? Cybercrimes are not just about hackers stealing your financial information at all, which is what most people tend to think. This crime involves more than just theft of your financial information. There are constant evolution of cybercrimes with new threats surfacing every day. Every year we have new threats that are surfacing. So cybercrimes in most well, in all cases, they take place online or primarily online. Cybercriminals often commit crimes by targeting computer networks or devices, and the crimes ranges from security breaches to identity theft. And there are some new ones that have surfaced in the last little while, like revenge porn, for example, cyber stalking, harassment, bullying, and even child sexual exploitation. These are some of the ones that have popped up a little bit more recently. So it is quite important for you to understand that criminals often depend on computers and the internet to take advantage of all of us. They steal from us and they can even hurt us using the internet and online sources. Now, as long as you're using the internet, you should exercise some basic precautions. And we have a few tips for you here. So, we talk about purchasing a full service internet security suite, and you can get that from multiple sources that are reputable. You need to get some real time protection against existing and emerging malware, including ransomware, viruses, and a lot of these security tools helps to protect your privacy and your financial information as well. You also want to consider using a really strong password and not repeat your passwords on different sites and change your password very regularly. Make them complex. And when we talk about complexity, we're talking about a combination of letters and numbers and symbols as well. A password management application can help you to keep your passwords locked down, to be quite frank. I use one of those. So it's something that you can go online and just look up password management application systems and you'll find some stuff there. Use passwords on your computer, on your phone, for your online accounts. You should always keep your passwords private. Do not share them with anyone, even family members. Sometimes, you have to think twice about who do you share your password with, right? And you should always log out of public sites. If you go to a public computer, please ensure that you're logging out before you leave that particular space. Don't click on attachments and links in emails from senders that you don't know. This is one of those tricks that an age-old trick that they've used to target people who are more vulnerable and not quite understand how these links could work. If you don't know the name of the email address from the sender, and sometimes they'll try to clone email like names of people that you know, in an effort to attack you with, different forms of attacks. So don't click on any attachments that you don't know. Do not respond to strange messages from friends. Sometimes, you'll get a message and it looks like it's from your friend, but it really isn't. It has their name has been used as a clone. You should always update your operating system and software and update your antivirus software as well. These are just a few tips that can help you to stay safe. Use antivirus software that is up to date. Avoid using unknown Wi-Fi. Come on, I know, like I do it too. You have your smartphone, you go out, and there are a gazillion Wi-Fi networks that you can just log on to. Be very careful about that because hackers sometimes will use these tricks to get their victims. Do not complete sensitive transactions like banking, opening your banking app or opening it up with public Wi-Fi. For example, free Wi-Fi from a cafe. Try to make sure that you are using a secure network because even when your networks are secured, it's still a bit risky. So you have to be really careful about that stuff. Use your best judgment if you must access these accounts in public spaces. Turn off your Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, camera, and location services when you're not using them because these are also ways that hackers can get into your system as well. Sounds kind of simple, but these are the simple things that you can do that will help you to protect yourself. Now, we talk about your devices. Don't leave your laptop, your tablet, or your smartphone unattended in a public space. Even if you're working on a secure Wi-Fi network, that won't stop someone from taking your property or even sneaking a peek at your device. So think about it. Even though you're working and you're using your own secure Wi-Fi connection, if you're in a public space, be very conscious of the space around you and how you leave your tools. Turn off automatic connectivity. Most smartphones, laptops, and tablets have automatic connectivity settings, which allows you to seamlessly connect from one hotspot to the next. This is convenient, right? It's a really, really convenient feature, but it can also connect your devices to networks you ordinarily would not be using. Keep these settings turned off, especially when you're traveling to unfamiliar places. You absolutely do not want to get yourself in a situation where someone has hacked you just because those settings were not taken care of. Now, some of the things that you want to consider as well is think about shopping. I mean, I shop online all the time. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I do know that shopping doesn't seem like it involves sensitive data, but if you think about it, making purchases online may include divulging banking information because you're going to go on your account, your shopping account, whichever online store you're using, and you're probably going to need to access some information, or the app does have your information there. So think about that. Now, this may include your banking info, right? Don't access your personal bank information or your personal bank accounts because this is sensitive information. So again, I talked about it earlier. Please do not do it in unsecured networks or in the public. Even secured networks can be risky, can be very, very risky. Making online purchases includes your retailer login information and credentials, which you simply do not want to get in the hands of the wrong people. Recently, I saw an article where this young woman, her account got hacked. They hacked her phone and then hacked all of her online shopping that she was doing. They uh, used her PayPal account to pay for stuff. They went on her eBay account, and then she had a lot of difficulty having these companies refund the monies to her because it was quite difficult for her to prove that she did not do all of this. So you really do want to be extra careful when it comes to these things. Now, um, why secure your home network? A lot of people ask this question because they're kind of like, okay, well, what's the big deal? I'm at home. Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this. unsecured networks, if you have an unsecured network, it means that anyone with a Wi-Fi device in your area, your coverage area, can access your personal internet connection with that device. Not only will they have access to accessing your actual info, but this could actually cause your bill to get really high. So large bills are a huge part of that, or restricted usage or download speed. So trespassers can actually steal your bandwidth and usage capacity to download extremely large files like movies or games. And that leaves you truly with a massive bill. I've had that situation happen to me in the past. It was a couple of years ago, but it did in fact happen, where someone hacked my account and just kind of downloaded a whole bunch of movies. I had a really difficult time proving to my internet provider that I had not actually done this. I think it took me about 8 months to clear up all of the issues. So again, we want to be very conscious and cognizant of these things. You may also be liable for criminal actions that were conducted using your unsecured network. So again, secure your network. There are a lot of crazy things that happens out there where people, go onto sites that and do things that are illegal. Now, once an investigation is launched and they're connected to your network, you could absolutely get in trouble for that. So keep that top of mind as well. Your unsecured browsing history also does have your passwords and logins and information about on your email content that can very easily be accessed if your network is unsecured. So please, 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 we cannot stress this enough about ensuring that your home network is actually secured. Your unsecured shared files can be accessed, they can be copied or they can be deleted. Your unsecured Wi-Fi enables peripherals like printers or video game systems can access these things. So once again, we're just asking you to be very careful and be conscious of that stuff. A firewall protection is actually very critical in the cyberspace. You can go to www.getcybersafe.gc.ca to learn a little bit more about this. Now, what is a firewall? It actually acts as a guard between your device and any other devices that is trying to access it through the web. It also makes sure all of the access points in your computer are secured at all times, except for those few which you're currently using. So, I mean, isn't that really a good thing? A lot of people don't quite understand about the firewall protection thing. So this is something that you can get a lot of information on if you go to www.getcybersafe.gc.ca. That's a government website that gives you fully unbiased information. Often firewall protection will already be part of your operating system. So your computer came with it. Check to see if it's turned on, and if it's not turned on, please ensure that you do so and ensure that it is updated on a constant basis. That's something that you must always keep top of mind. Your operating system help menu or online help should be able to guide you through all of all of the steps that you need to take in order for your firewall to be up and fully functioning and running. If your operating system does not include a firewall, you can install one on your own, which will always be quietly guarding your device in the back end without you actually worrying about it. And there are some really good selections of free and paid firewall software that's available on the internet. Check that out. Once again, like I said, go to www.getcybersafe.gc.ca and you'll have some reputable companies to choose from. Now, apps, MMS and SMS allows you to share media and use the internet to deliver highly specific information and functions on your mobile devices. Now, please be aware that they could also offer opportunities for fraud and malware as well, and different kinds of predators. Beware of apps developed by companies that provide very little or no information about themselves or don't provide contact details, websites, or email information. You want to make sure that there is a website that you can connect to, or there is an email address that you're able to connect to. Even apps that seem legitimate can often contain destructive viruses or be used to collect your personal data for their own personal gain. So be really careful about that. Look into an app that the permissions it requests before installing. So, use your common sense and match an app's functionality to the information it wishes to access from you. If it's asking for data that has absolutely nothing to do with the app, then don't provide it, don't do it, don't use it. Only download apps from sites or sources you can trust. So try to stick to the default source of apps for your mobile device or the official website. Like, for example, let's say that you were going to use your banking app. Go to the bank's website and download the app from there. Don't just go on the internet and start to look at, you type in, let's say, Canadian Imperial Bank, for example. You type that in and then you just download it from wherever you see it on the internet. Please don't do that. Try to ensure that you are using an app that is coming directly from the source. Okay. Now, some things to remember. Let us just do a very quick recap. What will you do about your passwords? Yes, you're going to make sure that they're really strong passwords and that you have them uh, with uppercase, lowercase, some symbols, and things like that to make sure that it's really strong. You're also not going to respond to phishing and spoofing. And phishing is can come to you through your email and stuff like that. Don't respond to spoofing. Keep software up to date. Do not connect to unsecure networks that you don't know, and turn off your connections when you're not using them. Let's take a quick look at identity theft. Identity theft is one of the most common types of cybercrime that is happening right now. Identity theft happens when someone uses your personal information without your knowledge. And we've seen a lot of that happening with people calling, saying that they're representing Revenue Canada. Some people are telling you that you owe the government a lot of money, and because you owe the government a lot of money, they're going to take money from you, things like that. You don't want that to happen. Whenever we log into a website to pay bills online, do our shopping online, enter an online contest or anything like that that is public, even your social media, we do become targets for thieves. So we have to be extremely careful about how we live our lives online. Identity thieves are looking for certain types of information. For example, they may need some specific details and numbers, such as your name and your address, your date of birth is also very important. Your mother's maiden name is also one of the things that they tend to use. And why are these things important to them? If you can think about whenever you're going to validate yourself online, um, usually it'll ask for things like, let's say you were locked out of your account. It'll say, well, what is the name of your pet? Or what is the name of your first pet? What street did you grow up on? What is your favorite sport? Who's your favorite author? Things like that. They look for those things because then that's how they get to steal your identity, by using this kind of detail when they're trying to hack you. So absolutely be very conscious of that. Additional information is often found in the forms for numbers like your passport, your credit card, your SIN number. These are really useful tools for identity thieves. So be very careful how you toss this information around. Be conscious of who has access to your info. They can use one of these numbers to get a lot of other details. Even your driver's license number is something that you should hold very near and dear to you. Identity thieves often have many different goals and intentions. It's not usually one. And a lot of times we seem to think that, oh, well, they don't have this for me or they don't have that for me, so they're not going to be able to um, do any of this stuff to me. No, it is highly possible. They may want to access your bank account or open a credit card in your name. That's a big one. They may do some online shopping using your credit card, even set up some fake accounts in your name, and associate you to even pornography. So be very, very careful. Identity thieves can also use your information to set up online gaming accounts or a cell phone contract. That's a really big one. The cell phone contract thing is huge. And this is how they're beginning to steal people's identity with the cell phone stuff because they get access to your certain information. They call the phone company, and then they will tell the phone company, well, switch my number or port my number over to this particular telephone service. So I'm just going to use, for argument's sake, Bell Canada and Rogers. These are the two largest telephone companies or well-known telephone companies in Canada, cell phone companies. And a person may steal your information and then say, okay, can you call the phone company and say, transfer me to Rogers, even though they were with Bell or Telus or whatever. So this is something. And then once that is done, they have full access to all of your information on the new phone. How is identity theft done? Identity thieves use a lot of tricks to obtain your personal information. They send phishing emails to trick you into sharing personal information. They create spoofing websites to trick you into sharing personal information. These phishing emails and spoofed websites often look legitimate at first look, but if you dig deeper, you're usually able to tell that something is really off. Like, for example, the URL. Spelling may be a mistake, language, image quality. Those things are oftentimes mistakes. So check those things very, very closely. And identity thieves may also advertise fake jobs to collect resumes and online application information just so that they can use that information against you to hack into your things. How's it done? Identity thieves can also check old discarded phones, computers, and USB drives for information, or they will steal computers and other devices. So there's a thing that is called shoulder surf. I don't know if you've ever heard of the term, but this means they can also watch over your shoulder while you're sitting at a computer in a public space. People will shoulder surf, so they'll be pretending that they're walking by you, but really what they're doing is they're trying to check out what information you have on your computer in front of you. So this is, a lot of young people or people who are students tend to be sitting in cafes and things like that. Be very conscious of that. They can also install spyware or malware on your computers to steal information typed in by you. This might happen on a public computer or even your own through various viruses. Identity thieves also hack someone's account and then send emails or social media messages to every name on the friends list. This has happened to many friends of mine. Or in the address book to try and get these contacts to give up their personal information. They also hack into company websites, especially those with online commerce like online commerce sites to steal the website's customers' account information. And thieves will also browse social media to collect the personal details. As we've already discussed, this is not something that is new. So, some very simple things that you can do. Once again, you're going to use a really strong password that is very unique for every site. Update your computer and your phone very regularly. Only connect to Wi-Fi that you trust, turn off your Wi-Fi Bluetooth camera and location services, and don't download from questionable websites. Once again, you can find a lot of this information at www.getcybersafe.gc.ca. That's a government website. And you should also remember that we must all work together to prevent cyberbullying and harassment. We should be careful of what we say and do online so that we don't become bullies. We must protect our accounts from being hacked by bullies. We can also do searches for our name to see if there is content online about us. I did that the other day and found a full on account that had absolutely nothing to do with me, but had so much information about me on Facebook. It was not me. It had my picture and just a whole bunch of stuff that had absolutely nothing to do with me. And remember, if someone uh, is being harassed or if someone's harassing you, It's always easier to deal with problems when you get support, so tell someone about it. Don't be afraid to bring that to someone's attention. You can learn more at getcybersafe.gc.ca. Government of Ontario um, also have some information about that, how to avoid or recover from identity theft. Go to this website that is listed here, www.ontario.ca/page/how-avoid-or-recover-identity theft. All right. And that should help you out a bit. We also have what is known as an anti-fraud center. You can call them at 1-888-495-8501 and visit them at www.antifraudcenter.ca. Their RCMP scam and fraud section. You can contact the RCMP or your local police at this address that is shown on our screen here. Now, we do have some tools for you on our website. This page that is shown here is the International Student Connects page. It's www.internationalstudentconnect.org. When you go here, you will find a lot of relevant information that will be able to help you. We have a transition plan and some additional resources. For example, we have a handbook, we have an international student guide for Ontario that you can check out as well. The transition plan that we're showing you here is used to help international students as they transition from, say, for example, an international student to a permanent resident. So check it out. Visit our website, and if you would like to contact us, please do feel free to give us a call at 1-844-871-4567, or you can email us at isc@costi.org. I look forward to seeing you again at other webinars. Thank you, and if you have any questions, once again, shoot us an email. We'll absolutely take care of that for you. Have yourself a fantastic day.